For the first time in a long time, I feel rejuvenated and a little bit inspired. And believe it or not, it's because of something that's going to be coming up in the news. Starting sometime in January, I believe even next week, CBS Evening News will be hosted by somebody who did something unusual and very much reminiscent of the film Network. He talked to camera about his expectations and what he wants to do. He talked to us and to you, and he did it because he feels the same way we do, or at least that's what he says, that the news will be independent from the corporate owner, and the news will reflect what we think or the values that we all hold. This is something that we haven't had in a long time. And Tony Dokoupil says, "Don't trust me, make me earn it. And I promise you, we will." So here we go. Tony Dokoupil came out, and according to CBS's News' own website, where he essentially produced his own segment and wrote it out in full, basically said what we've all been saying for a very long time. He puts into words a sense that nobody trusts the mainstream anymore. In fact, it resonated so much it even made it into the Hollywood tabloids like Dateline. He asserts that CBS Evening News will be independent from its corporate owner. "I will report for you," which in a lot of ways is something that hasn't happened for a very long time, especially when it comes to, well, the corporate news itself. And this is a big problem that we've all been talking about for a long time. There's special interests and people that are influencing the information that we get, what we hear, and how it's covered. It's why some people have moved out of news organizations either willfully or under force or duress. I will point towards Catherine Herridge, who wanted to cover things honestly, but was never allowed to. I point towards people who have walked away from corporations like Megyn Kelly and have gone into a independent role that is more effective and more useful, with her background and with the opportunity she has digitally to reveal the truth. Trish Regan is another one of those voices, and there are many, many others out there that have moved from one side to the other, some successfully and some not so successfully. For example, Don Lemon. Of course, he was fired for various reasons, and, those reasons may have been valid, and a lot of people didn't trust him in the first place. This might be different, and it might be a turning point in time that Denise Pitsky over at Deadline actually covered. From the story, here's the headline, and here's what it has to say. Tony Dokoupil gears up to take the reins of CBS News on January 5th. He released a New Year's Day message pledging transparency and restoring trust in legacy media and promising independence from politicians and corporate interests. "You come first," Dokoupil says in his video message, "not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests, and yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS, Paramount, Skydance. I report for you." Dokoupil was confirmed last month as CBS Evening News anchor under new editor-in-chief Barry Weiss. He succeeds John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois, who announced their departures after less than a year of authoring the broadcast. And you know what? That wasn't surprising. These are people from the old regime and the old way of thinking that it sounds like under Skydance's leadership is going to be absent from Paramount's future decisions. It sounds like there are changes afoot at the Circle K, and that's going to bring some positive, maybe. And I'm still skeptical. Weiss specifically has recently come under some harsh criticism, especially by those who have, no say in anything that Americans believe, like George Clooney. But the correspondent on the story talking about the harsh prison in El Salvador that got a recent story cut from 60 Minutes, Sharon Alfonsi, was, just the regular pablum that we've been so used to being covered by the lack of quality journalists and for a very long time over at CBS News. But in a welcome change of pace, Tony's message is uplifting and positive, and it gives us some real insight into what he's been hearing for quite a long period of time. And the fact that stories were never covered effectively or even honestly, and not with the audience's perspective in mind, which is something that's been absent from news and any form of journalism for the better part of a decade, if not longer. In his own statement, as we read here, a lot has changed since the first person sat in the evening news chair. For me, the biggest difference is this: people don't trust us like they used to. Well, that's pretty obvious. And it's not just us, it's all legacy media, and he's 100% right. He says, I get it. I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years. I've traveled America on assignment. My mom's neighbors in West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City, thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes they want to talk to me about our coverage of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate or obviously any of her corruption. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. And I imagine he's had interesting conversations surrounding all of that subject matter. The point is that too many stories, the press missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. And certainly they abandoned common sense along the way, which I think is largely what he's trying to say. And he's right. He says, I know this because at certain points, I have been you. I've felt that way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life. And that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. In fact, there are times when I could tell you I don't think they're asking any questions whatsoever. So here's my promise to you, he says. As long as I sit in this chair, you come first, not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you, which means I tell you what I know, when I know it, and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. To me, this sounds like responsible journalism and a return to something we haven't had in a long time. It also sounds an awful lot like the new editor-in-chief, Bari Weiss, who believes that whether you get a story right or wrong is something of a news matter itself. And when you do get it wrong, you have to report that. You also should be reporting the facts and not a lot of misinformation that's passed along by people who have invested interests in whatever that happens to be. And I think that's been happening for far too long as well, which is one of the reasons why I showed up on this platform in the first place. I thought entertainment wasn't properly being represented in the likes of Deadline or Variety or even The Hollywood Reporter. I think once Deadline was compromised by the purchase made by Penske Media, Nikki Fink's spirit of independent coverage disappeared. And I think I was right. I also think that launched some other outlets, including Puck News Media, which has started to build a reputation for itself. However, it does cost a little bit of money to follow the news over there, so I don't blame people for not jumping on board. What I've also noticed along the way is that people appreciate when they're getting quality coverage from independent creators out there and are turning more and more frequently to sources like YouTube and, of course, X and the Green Machine itself. The idea that the voices can be heard and not censored is one that I think everybody supports, and I'm often concerned when my voice is censored or claimed or any of the other things that can happen to a creator on platforms such as this. All I can tell you is that expect more. Not just from me, but apparently from CBS News, who's trying to earn your trust back. Do you think you'll give them the opportunity? Or are you prepared for more disappointment? Those questions I think are important. Therefore, I ask them and I would expect or hope for an answer. So let me know your thoughts about what CBS is trying to do and whether or not we should believe them. I want to know about it down in the comments section below. I also want to let you know that there are more things coming from my channel, and there are other channels coming from me as well. One that focuses on gardening and why I'm so invested in it, and hopefully it's to help you improve your health and give you an opportunity and an understanding of how to do the same for yourself. I want you to take a look at my opinions when it comes to news coverage and politics, which is why another channel will be coming called Thank You for Your Attention to This Matter. If you're interested in either of those, they will be reflected shortly in this particular page for this particular channel in the next few days. As far as my individual thoughts on various pop culture conversations, that'll never change. It'll still be here on this channel for as long as I'm allowed to be here. And let's say somebody decides to censor me, perhaps you will help me remove that censorship and reclaim my channel if it were ever to be taken away. On that note, I'll just say this. Be sure to take care of yourself in the new year. Take care of others, which is very important. Be sure to wash your hands because it's good hygiene and it protects yourself and others at the same time. And until next time, see ya. Hopefully watching some real news.